Hey everybody, I'm Mikey Andersen, and this is Fantasy Avenue, where each week we talk about everything you need to know in the world of fantasy football. Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Avenue, your road to fantasy football victory. I'm Mikey Andersen. Welcome to the Week 10 review and the Week 11 Insight episode. Good to have you. Let's get right into it. Last week was another great week of football. Let's just get the Broncos right out of the way. We can't win a game. Okay, that's all we need to say. But seriously, it was a good week of football. Some top guys, Lamar Jackson, Cincinnati Bengals players, right? Joe Mixon. Some top guys were on bye. I know for one, at least, I was looking around for some waiver wire pickups, and we'll get to that at the end of the episode, or towards the end, your waiver wires for this week. But even so, it was a great week. First, I want to just talk about Justin Fields. I'm going to talk about him in the quarterback section, but I just want to talk about that game against the Lions. That was an awesome game, 30-31 if you didn't watch it. Lions are able to pull out a win, but Justin Fields he's basically a running back at this point. He's the new Lamar Jackson. In the last two games, he's ran for 178 and 147 yards and combined for 3 rushing touchdowns. Like, show me a running back that's had those good of stats for the last 2 games, not named Joe Mixon, which is he only did in 1 game. So that was crazy. Also, and this is weird, I didn't even watch. People said that the Bills-Vikings game was the best game that they've ever seen. The Vikings winning 33-30 in overtime. I didn't even watch the game. I was busy watching the Broncos lose, and then I was just done with football. And I didn't even watch this insane ending to the Vikings game. I've heard that it was crazy. I know there's a lot of fantasy points scored in it, but, maybe I need to do my research more next episode, because that was, what I've heard about, some, the Josh Allen fumbles, the pick. I saw that Gabriel Davis catch that was ruled like a 20-or-something yard catch, and it turns out it shouldn't have even counted, but they did count it. That's insane. Just a crazy game. I don't know how. I just think it's crazy. I've heard it was super entertaining to watch. I know the 2 one-handed. I mean, I could just go on and on about this game. The 2 one-handed catches by Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson. It's awesome. And I also wanted to talk about this is something from my personal stories. Wilson Goodhue. Now, I don't know if you listen to this podcast, Wilson, but this is directed solely at you. Let me provide some backstory first before I get into Wilson. Last week, I lost by 0.2 points. 145 to 145, but when you go down in the yard categories, in terms of quarterback yards, 25 points, 25 yards per point, right? So if you get 23 yards as a quarterback, if you finish, I'm going to make this up, 193, right? That if it ends in a 3, that means you got 0.23 out of 25, which is if I do the math, that's 0.92 of a point. So you can lose by 0.08 of a point. You can lose by less than a running back yard. You can lose by less than a skill position yard in a game. That already happened to me earlier. I lost by 0.08 points. I'm using this as an example to a kid. Insane. This week I lose by 0.68. So still, that's less than 7 yards of total offense. Less than a touchdown. Less than a quarterback touchdown. That is, it's 1 point. 1 catch. I lost by a catch. And the craziest thing is, this is the craziest part. The game's coming down to the wire, right? The last of the Philadelphia-Washington game on Monday Night Football, which is a crazy game, super entertaining. And the Philadelphia Eagles are, the last unbeaten team. I heard a thing earlier that undefeated Dolphins team in the 70s, they can rest now because the last undefeated team is gone. But anyway, in that game, it's coming down to the wire. If you were watching it, you know that the Redskins, the Commanders. However you feel about that name, that's a personal opinion. I don't care about the, like, I don't care whether it's the Redskins or the Commanders, but I find myself slipping a lot. So my only opinion is I wish they wouldn't have changed it just so I don't slip as much. But the Commanders is a better, and I think the Commanders is a cool name. I just find myself slipping on that name a ton, that I just feel like it would have been easier. But it's a cool name. So let's go. The Commanders. They have the ball. Taylor Heineke at quarterback, and they're driving down. They need a first down to win. It's 3rd and something. I know I might be butchering this ending. I don't know if this is exact. But anyway, it's going to be a sack. I'm winning by less than a point at this point. And Wilson has the Eagles defense. If you know, a sack is 1 point. They've got Taylor Heineke cornered. It looks like it's going to be a sack. He sits down. He basically gives himself up, which would be a sack, right? Because all the Eagles players have to do is just touch him. But they go sliding in. I don't know, I don't even blame, as a defensive player, in high school football, if a quarterback just sits down, it would be really hard for me to tell, I don't play D-end, but if I play D-end and I'm rushing quarterback, it would be hard for me to tell if he sat down or if he slipped. Because if he slipped, he can get back up and throw the ball. You have to finish the play. So anyway, I think it was Brandon Graham on the Eagles. He comes sliding in and hits Heineke kind of hard while Heineke's on the ground. And then the flag flies and Heineke's celebrating like crazy. And I was like, oh no, it's going to be a sack as soon as he laid down. And then, oh yes, it doesn't count. But it did. This is I just can't believe I'm losing I'm losing by that sack when technically there was a penalty on the play and the sack shouldn't have counted. It's crazy to me. Wilson Goodhue, if you are listening to this, if you know him, alert this man that he should have not have won this week. Nothing's going to change on the app, but I just want him to know in his heart that he shouldn't have beat me. He shouldn't have beat Fantasy Avenue that way. And I'll see him. I probably won't see him in the playoffs. I'm not doing very good in this league. So odds are, I'll get to the playoffs. Odds that I make it to the championship, it's low odds I'm going to see him. But if I do see you, Wilson, it's my time. It's my time to shine. It's my time to prove what I wanted is what I deserved. And so, Wilson Goodhue, I hope you listen to this podcast. I want to go skiing with you sometime this winter. This tangent, if you want to go skiing, hit me up. But you should not have won that game. That's all I want to say. Okay, let's just move on. That was my week in review. I know there's a lot of other good games I didn't talk about. The Packers finally getting a win. Great job, Packers. Beat the Cowboys. Those are two of the craziest, most on and off fan bases in the league, the Cowboys and the Packers. So good on the Packers there. A-Rod is back. Maybe. But yeah. And then on the note of Wilson hit me up. If any of you, I want to spice the podcast up a little bit. I don't want to just be me talking every time. I've already talked to a couple people about coming on the podcast. But if you want to come on the podcast, you can be on it as over a phone call. You don't even have to come to the office necessarily. It's fun at the office, but you don't have to come to the office. You can be over a phone call hooked up to the mic system. It would be awesome. If you know about fantasy football, or if you just, honestly, if you know about football in general and you just like to talk, whatever, funny, anything. If you know me, just honestly, just text me or just tell me at school or whatever. But if you don't, and you just think anybody could come on, DM me on the Fantasy Avenue Instagram page in case you don't follow that too. Just DM me on the Instagram page and we'll get it set up because I want to have guests on the show. I want to talk about different people's fantasy experiences or just overall football experiences, like somebody who actually watched the Bills-Vikings game. It would be cool to have. So if you can make that happen, cool. Be my guest. Literally be my guest. Cool. All right, let's get into the weeks of the week players. I want to talk about the studs and duds a little bit, and I really want to talk about my waiver wire transactions for this week. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of injuries. I really want to talk about all that. I'm going to have an Instagram post coming out sometime, probably today or tomorrow, about it's just going to be easier to see, right? You can just say and go, okay, that's a good guy to pick. Okay, I'll pick that him up. I just want to provide that info, and so I'm going to have a post coming out, with a couple list of names, whatever, a photo or whatever. But this is I'll go in depth at the end of the episode. But first, if I'm getting ahead of myself at this point, I just want to talk about the studs and duds of last week because it was an awesome week, and I'm excited. All these guys count as these guys go towards the waiver wire selections. So when you hear me talking about these guys, Don't like these are all completely factors in the waiver wire pickups or in trade. These guys are going to be more in trade than actual waiver selections, right? Because a lot of these are the top name guys. Like if I'm naming quarterbacks right now, well, actually 4 and 5 aren't, but 1, 2, and 3 is Justin Fields, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Justin Fields is completely a guy that you should trade for. He's going to be on my Instagram post in terms of a trade because he's not Patrick Mahomes. You know, people aren't super keen on holding on to him, but he has been balling. If you have a chance to get this guy, like honestly, at this point, if you have a mid quarterback, I'm just going to make up a scenario. Let's say you have, let me just think. Let's say you have Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, the number 11th quarterback this year. Not kind of inconsistent and doesn't score a whole lot. And then you also have a baller on offense. I'm going to go and I'm going to say, I don't want to give you any like top, don't go giving out any like top 3 guys at a position. But if you have like a number 5 to number 10 overall ranked player, honestly, like I'll use Alvin Kamara. He's a number 17 ranked running back. He's missed some games this year and he's been off a couple games, but he's overall playing pretty well. Or even Devontae Adams, he's a number 5th ranked receiver. He's been a little inconsistent. At this point, if you have a mid quarterback and you have pretty good skill positions, right? If you have, let's just say you have Devontae Adams and like whatever, Tyler Lockett, like 2 pretty good guys. At this point, I would consider giving up. If I had that league, I would consider giving up Devontae Adams because the value you're getting with Fields right now and how much he runs the ball, how much it helps to have basically a running back and a receiver combo in terms of points, you know, it's insane. I want you to this is the time to either go or no go. So I would say go. 51 points last week, 48 the week before. Let me see if it's actually over. No, wow. 40 on the NFL fantasy app. I'm pretty sure this is generic scoring. 49.7 points in week 9 and now 51.38 in week 10. He has scored 100 points in the last 2 weeks combined. There is not a single guy in the league that can possibly do that in his last 2 weeks, besides if Joe Mixon has another insane game today. But he is the only guy who can. He's the only guy who can say he's done that this year. That is crazy. That's absurd. I mean, he's got 15 points on Patrick Mahomes in terms of highest score last week, and Patrick Mahomes got 36. Patrick Mahomes is balling. I don't even need to talk about him. He's balling. He's got 35 and 36 the last 2 weeks. Still really good. That's 71. He's a baller. And then followed by Josh Allen with kind of an okay game of 24. But Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen. I honestly would have expected him to do more, hearing how that game went. Oh, I think it's because of the turnovers. Yep, he threw 2 picks, and did he lose any fumbles? I feel like somebody said, yeah, and he lost a fumble. Yeah, so the turnovers depleted him from getting like a 30-point game there. But still a good game for Josh Allen. You know, he's going to come back hungry after that. And then number 4 and 5, we have Ryan Tannehill and Aaron Rodgers. 2 guys, I mean, if you're really desperate for quarterbacks, you can pick up some of those guys. You can pick up Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones. But honestly, at this point in the season, you're either going fine without a quarterback or you need to trade for a top-tier quarterback. At this point in the season, if you're getting away with not having a quarterback, you don't need to grab one like that because they're not going to help you more than hurt you. And if you're not getting away with it, like if your quarterback got hurt or something, I don't really know. No quarterback's really gotten hurt in the last week, I don't think. But if there's something like that, it's time to trade. It's time to trade because it's getting down to the wire here in terms of the season. Okay, let's go to the bus at quarterback. I'm looking for any guys under 5 points at this point. Or under 10 points, around 10 points, because you know quarterbacks. I mean, it was just an average week of scoring for quarterbacks. Almost every quarterback scored between 15 and 25 points. The only big name I can see outside of that is Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert's not having a super good fantasy year. I had him super high. I was super high on him at the beginning of the year. He scored in his last 4 games. He had 8, 18, 12, and 12. There were some good defenses thrown in there, but he's just not having standout games. You know, he's throwing for 250 to 300 yards in every game, 1 touchdown and a pick. It's just completely average, and he doesn't ever really run the ball, so you never get rushing yard points there. Justin Herbert's just having a midseason. I still believe that he is going to be a top 5. Like I believe, I mean, I haven't done any research obviously, but I believe at this point that he can be a top 5 quarterback next year, top 10 at least. So, well, I don't want to think about. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but at this point, I think it's Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson is my top 4, and then the rest, like maybe I would sneak Justin Herbert at number 5. I'm not sure. But anyway, so not a great week, not a great year for Justin Herbert, but he's still a viable quarterback option, and he can consistently put some points up for you. Next is the running backs, and what a week! Finally, Jonathan Taylor finally leads the league in points. He's missed 3 games this year. He's had in 3 games that he's played, he's scored under 10 points. He's got a 12-point, a 15-point. This is his biggest week of the season and his biggest week since week 1. He scored 29 points in week 1. Hasn't been back into the 20s yet this year, and now he's up into the 30s for the first time. Great to see that. He finally got some volume. He got over 20 carries. It's awesome. He did good. I don't know. There's not a lot to say. He finally balled out, and I'm happy for those Jonathan Taylor fantasy owners, because I know it's been a rough year picking number 1 overall and picking him. I would have picked him too. It's not like I'm like, yeah, it was an obvious choice to do that. Let's look at some other guys here. Dalvin Cook with 30 points, number 2. Aaron Jones with 25, number 3. Saquon with 25, number 4. 3 ballers right there, all in the top 10 in terms of running back points this year. And then we have Jeff Wilson of the Dolphins at number 5. He's going to be on a bye this week just in case for the Jeff Wilson owners, but he's having a good year. And then a couple guys, I just want to talk about these guys because in one league, I have all 3 of these ballers on my team. Now, I didn't start them all in last week's game, but Tony Pollard, James Conner, and Dante Foreman, 3 guys you can find in the depths, 3 guys I did not draft, 3 guys I picked up off the waiver wire. That shows you what the waiver wire can do. That's why it's so awesome. That's why running backs are so awesome, because Tony Pollard and Dante Foreman both filling in for an injury, and James Conner was dropped after getting an injury, and now he's back. It's cool. And I'm gonna get to the waiver wire selections in a bit, but it's good to hear that as a fantasy owner. I know sometimes it seems like the waiver wire is just a bunch of trash, but there's gems in the rough, as the miners say. There's gems in the rough. Okay, let's go to... Oh, wait. Oops, I forgot about duds. Let's go to some duds. We're looking for anybody. We're seeing if there's worry. Any big names or any mid names under 10. Derrick Henry with 8. No worry. He'll get back on top. He played the Broncos defense. The tank defense. We have the best defense in the NFL. We. I'm not sure if we have the best defense, but we have a top defense, and the Broncos know how to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry will be back on track next week. Don't doubt it. Alvin Kamara is in the bottom. Now, there is a part to worry about. He's having an off year. I actually traded him away. Traded him to my man Wilson, who took the dub. We've already got there. He's having a bit of an off week. I wanted to talk about Isaiah Pacheco, I think his name is, the Chiefs running back. He didn't really have an off week, but he's a guy that I've seen a lot of the waivers, and I actually considered talking about him in the waivers. I'm not going to. I'm not going to post about him, because until he shows that he can do something with the carries, there's no point in picking him up. He got 16 carries last game, which is a lot for a running back, and only 82 yards, and nothing. He did not it's just why I don't know if you can pick him up, because that's a 5.1 yard average, which is pretty dang good. But if you don't score a touchdown, it's And especially in a PPR league, if you don't even get targeted in the pass game, if you have 3 catches all year, it's super hard to be a viable running back unless you're like Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry, let's ignore Derrick Henry's. First of all, let's ignore every single catch Derrick Henry's gotten. He's still a beast because he gets 22 carries and he runs for 150 yards in a game, right? He has a huge average. Like, it didn't happen this weekend, but he has a huge average, and then he scores a touchdown. It's guaranteed if you get near the goal line with Henry, you run for a touchdown. And that didn't happen with the Chiefs' offense is so much. There's so much dynamicness that they don't need to just run it from the 2. They can do this weird little play action shovel pass to Travis Kelce. So Patrick, he's a name to keep an eye on. but he's not the guy. He's just not the guy right now. And finally, Miles Sanders. Oh, I had a rough ending to the week in fantasy. Took a win in 2 of my 4 leagues. Miles Sanders, I needed like 15 points from, so just a bit of an over-average week for him. He can score. He scored 18, 11, 31, 14, 13, 15. He's done it. He's got close, right? He's done that like 6 times this year where he did it or almost did it. He gives me 5.4 and I lose. Dang it, man, that hurts. And it was just a week of disappointment. This week for me in fantasy, yeah, it's all right. You know what? We bounce back. We grow. But Miles Sanders, tough week. I've put in some trade requests for him over the past week. I just can't do with that inconsistency while running the ball. I need a guy who can. I need a guy who can consistently score me the points I need when the game's on the line, and he couldn't do that for me. My last guy, this is going to be a long episode. I'm thinking about a 40-minute episode the way things are going because this is taking forever. I want to talk about Cordell Patterson. I want to shout out my boy, Mr. Scheffler Carl. Can't remember who he had on the bench, but, he lost because he started Cordell Patterson, and Cordell Patterson put up 3 points. I saw a lot of hype on Instagram about Cordell being a must start, and I just didn't really look into it. I didn't have any chance to get him, and I didn't need him. But I don't know why. He only got 5 carries. I'm confused on why there was so much hype for Cordell last week. He didn't. I don't know. He's always been such an inconsistent player, and because he's like a wide receiver running back mix, it's hard to consistently count on points from him. It's just kind of weird. I'm not sure what happened, but it's okay. What happens happens. Yeah, that's about it. That'll be the running back section. Let's go on to receivers here. I first wanted to talk about here. Well, wait. Let me just pull up real quick before I'm done with Cordell. I just needed to see who Cordell. Yeah, Cordell was started in the flex over Aaron Jones. Mr. Carl, that was not the right decision. Let me just tell you. You had Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, and you started dang Cordell Patterson. Oh boy, and you lost by 14, and you could have had 22 from Aaron Jones. Oh boy, you know what? What happens happens. Let me move on. I don't want to point out the mistakes too much because you already know your boy makes mistakes. You already know your boy should have started James Conner and Dante Foreman in this league instead of Miles Sanders, and he could have frickin' won his game. You already know, so I don't want to point out Chef's mistakes too bad, but it just seemed a little obvious to me. That's just my opinion, though. Let's go on to receivers, because I know there's some guys that everybody agrees with in wide receivers. I really wanted to talk about it. Man, it's Justin Jefferson, a baller. Holy crap. The catches he had this week, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. 35 points. He gets the second most points after CeeDee Lamb. This is just in a base league again. Maybe these points aren't exactly how your league's points are in terms of bonuses and all that. CeeDee Lamb with 38. Justin with 35. Christian Watson on the Green Bay Packers with 32. Easily, he hasn't scored over 10 points this whole year, and he gets 32. 3 touchdowns on 107 yards. That came out of nowhere, and it's good for him. I don't want to say that he's a waiver wire pickup this week. If you are so desperate for a receiver that you just need somebody who's proved he can catch a pass, okay, you can go for it, but. I don't think that's the choice. He's just not consistent enough at all. He's the Miles Sanders, folks. The Miles Sanders of receivers, Christian Watson. All right. Well, actually, maybe that's Nick Westbrook-Akine. Balls out on the Broncos. On NFL Fantasy Leagues, he's not starting in a single league. And he goes for 28 after having 3 straight 0-point games in which he played. He scores 0-0-0. Then he comes out against the Broncos, gets 5 catches for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. Broncos defense. God, I was hyping you up. You can't let Westbrook-Akine do that on you. Anyway, Christian Watson and Westbrook-Akine, they're bottom of the barrel guys, and if you need somebody, you can go grab them. But the top 5, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Watson, Christian Kirk, another baller. I have him, and people don't believe, but the Christian Kirk magic is real. Number 7 receiver, he is real. Again, I want to point out number 7 receiver this year. Like, I guarantee if you asked 100 people who know fantasy football, they'd be like, oh, he's like 15th, like real hype there. And then Westbrook at the bottom. It was a weird week for receivers, but it was a crazy week, and the ballers, the guys proved that they were the best. Let's just say that. Okay, let's go on to some duds real quick. Duds, we're looking for any big names, any just noticeable people towards the bottom of the list. Waddle with only 10.6. I just traded for him too. That is, come on, man. Need a little more out of you. It was a pretty consistent week for the big name receivers. Curtis Samuel with only 6. I'm gonna hype him up, even though I just said he only scored 6 points. I have him as a flex and a bench option in almost every one of my leagues. I love how he has an ability to score a lot of points, being the running back, and I love how he consistently just scores in the teens. Like, he has off weeks, but he goes 18, 22, 13, has an off week of 7. Goes 12, has an off week of 2. Goes 12, 10, 17, and has an off week. Like, he's as consistent as you're gonna find on the waiver wire. So if you need him, snag him, because he is as consistent as you're gonna get for a waiver wire selection like him. It's not gonna be pretty. You're not gonna get exactly what you want all the time. Sometimes you have to settle. That's what they say in the books that I read about family dynamics. I'm kidding. Sometimes you just have to settle with your fantasy players. I'm talking about fantasy, guys. I'm not talking about anything else. That's weird. Fantasy football. Okay, let's just move on. That got awkward quick. Whew. It's hot in here. What's going on here? Okay. Tight ends. Let's go to tight ends. Let's do it. Tight ends of the week. Cole Kmet, you are my guy. 23.4 points at the tight end spot. You want to talk about inconsistent? I'll give you inconsistent. 0, 0, 6, 4, 8, 2, 5, 9. That's pretty dang consistent, you ask me. Then 22 and 23. And now I'm starting him in my league. Call me crazy, but I might be freaking crazy, because that doesn't sound like the most consistent guy. I'm all about consistency as a tight end. I've said it a billion times. I don't always practice what I preach, but that's okay. I just have to believe at this point. I have to either trade for somebody in every league, because I had Zach Ertz. The pain that I heard, like the pain when he went down, the pain in my heart that I felt. Oh, God, because I was so hyped up on him. Gets me 2.2. That didn't help with my Miles Sanders situation in that league. It's heartbreaking, folks. It's just heartbreaking. I don't know what to say. Let's move on. Cole Kmet, you're a baller. Followed by Travis Kelce and Dalton Schultz, both ballers. Dalton Schultz coming back over injury. He will 100% be in my Instagram post. He's a beast. And then we have Juwan Johnson, started in only 2.9% of leagues, and he's the 9th tight end. So, okay. Let's look at Juwan, everybody. Whoa. And then we got Tyler Higbee. All good players. All guys I don't know if you should be excited about them, but you could. And they're guys that could be the pickup of the week in terms of who you need and who you want. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down there? Cool. All right. That's good. Thank you for picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, let's go down to some bust tight ends. I mean, you can't really talk about bust tight ends, because tight end points are just they're so all over the place to begin with, Like, you can't really talk about how tight ends score and don't score. It's kind of weird when I'm trying to talk about tight end busts. I can kind of point out Zach Ertz. He got hurt in the middle of his game. I can kind of point that out, but I don't know. I don't know. What happens. I have a conundrum about. I'm looking in this league right now. I have a conundrum. Do I start Lamar Jackson, consistent beast, or do I start Justin Fields? Oh man. Honestly, Lamar has not been doing well in the past weeks. He's only scored 20 over the past 6 weeks. Oh, but he's proven he's good. Oh. No one hate me on this. No one who knows football hate me on this, but I'm going Justin Fields at quarterback. Wow. Really, Mikey? Yes, Mikey. Yes, I am. What made you do that? Oh, man, I just did it. Don't hate. Don't hate the game, hate the players. I've talked about him earlier. I've talked about him in the waivers. Honestly, I've been rambling this episode. If you're new to the podcast, this does not usually happen, guys. I swear I don't just talk this much randomly. Let me tell you. Let's just move right on. I'm going to look at defenses real quick. Anybody ballers? Commanders? Okay, they did good. Okay, whatever. Okay. No big scores. Kicker? No big scores. Okay. Let's go on right to waivers. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go home and watch my favorite show on television. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to. Well, I'm probably. My podcast is tiny. What the heck? No one's gonna get mad at me. Survivor, best game show, strategy show I've ever watched, listened to. I'm born with it. It's in my blood. So I got to get home and watch that at 7. I'm recording this at 5:53 on a Wednesday. Hold the phone, everybody. I did an episode on a Wednesday before Thursday night. Where's those? Here, hold up. Where's those sound effects? Let me hear the sound effects. Yes, sir. Thank you. No, please. Okay, that's enough. Okay, okay. Wait, how do I turn this off? Okay, it got to be enough. But yeah, so I did it on the. Okay, what? What's what? Okay, that was not a. I don't know why that just turned on again. Hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. So yes, thank you. Again, maybe they just wanted to clap twice. I don't know. I did an episode. I hope this helps. I hope I don't just. I hope it doesn't screw over my schedule anymore. I hope it helps it out. You know who to start tomorrow, and I'm about to tell you who's playing tomorrow. Let me pull that up real quick on my cellular device. Who's playing tomorrow? Anybody know? Because I sure don't. I have no idea. I'm just trying to go down the list of. Oh, there we go. Green Bay, Tennessee. Yeah. Derrick Henry fans, do not worry. Aaron Jones fans, start Aaron Jones. If Aaron Jones is hurt, I want everybody to start A.J. Dillon, and we're right into the waiver picks. My first guy I want to talk about, A.J. Dillon. He has no starting, he has no reason to start him unless Aaron Jones is hurt, and Aaron Jones has been questionable a lot in practice over the last couple weeks. He doesn't have an injury designation. But if something weird comes up and you're like, wow, oh shoot, he's questionable. Oh, he's out. You know what? Pick up my guy, the quad father, what they call him, A.J. Dillon, because he's gonna score some points. Let me tell you. Let's go to other kind of. I mean, there's ballers everywhere. You know what? I'm never gonna push you to pick up a player who isn't a baller. My baller for this week, it's got to be Greg Dulcich again, Bronco tight end. Ooh, I just love myself some Broncos. He didn't have a very good week last week. I know. Maybe somebody picked him up when I said don't like. Sorry, people. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. But what happens. He's a good player, and I think he's gonna. I do believe he's gonna have another good. He's gonna be a bounce back week. If you don't know his stats, he's only started playing the last 4 games, but the 3 games before the bye, he had 12, 11, and 12. If you want consistency in a tight end, Dulcich is your guy. So definitely snag that up right there. Yeah. Let's look at somebody else. So we got Dulcich, we got A.J. Dillon, 2 good players. Curtis Samuel, he's open in a lot of leagues. If you want him, snag him. I don't know why he's open in so many leagues, because he's a good player and he's a dynamic player. He's a lot like Deebo Samuel. And if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure they both went to South Carolina at the same time. It's weird. South Carolina had 2 of pretty similar running back receiver type guys at the same time. Curtis Samuel can be your Deebo. Wait, Deebo Samuel, Curtis Samuel. Sorry. Anyway, let's move on. The biggest guy I think for the week for me. Now, don't quote me if he gets 3 points, but it's Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals tight end. He should get a bigger role with Zach Ertz out. It's a big role in the offense. He's super athletic. He's a deep waiver wire guy. A guy, if you like me, have fully invested in every single position but your tight end. In all my leagues, I'm okay, I'm going to go backup, get multiple backup good receivers, get my flex options. I'm going to have everybody have a good quarterback. My tight end I just kind of forgot about because I have a consistent scorer in Zach Ertz. I'm okay, Zach Ertz will take care of it. He's out for the year. Trey McBride is the guy I'm whoa, let's just replace the Cardinals tight ends and hope no one's notices, right? Let's just do that. And in all seriousness, he's a baller, and don't at me, but he's going to score you some points this week. He will be on the Instagram, let me tell you. I'm looking for anybody else. Cole Kmet, another great tight end. I've talked to him a little bit with crazy inconsistency, but he's a guy. I might just do an all tight ends post. You know what? Wow. Let's bring the applause back one more time. Woo! 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 Yep, I'm gonna do an all tight ends post. Greg Dulcich, Cole Kmet, and Trey McBride. Those are your tight ends for the week. Thank you, folks. Let's look for any other waiver wire selections. In no joking matter, those are the guys for the week. Trust me, one of those three are going to score you some points. So let me tell you. I don't know which. Oh, crap. I forgot about Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, another tight end. You want him. He's been 13 and now 17. He's gets targets. Man, I don't want to bring the applause back for the accidentally fourth time in the episode. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to spare you. If I see another tight end, a fifth tight end out of the post, I'll point it. I'll do the applause. But for now, it's going to be a 4 tight end. It's going to be a 4 tight end lineup for me. Dalton Schultz, he might be the strongest out of all of them because he's been so injured this year. And like in my list, if you watched the tight end, I think it was tight end defense kicker episode in the start of the NFL season, go ahead and watch him too. Honestly, like even if you don't want to draft, just because you can learn. There's some info in there in terms of waiver wire because of who I talk. I talk about sleepers. I talk about guys who are now like Curtis Samuel who are available on the waiver wires. Call me a witch, but I saw it coming. Dalton Schultz is one of those guys. I'm pretty sure I have my number 7th tight end coming in this year. He's been super hurt, but now he's back. There's a tight end resurgence that comes with a tight end downfall, and those are the guys for you. Let's go to any more. Keenan Allen, I will go real quick on Keenan Allen. Don't forget him. He's looking questionable. Same with Mike Williams. They're both questionable. That's awesome. Who knows? I didn't even think about when I was kind of bad-mouthing Justin Herbert earlier, but, missing your top 2 receivers your whole freaking season, that is going to do something to you. You know what? I'm back on the Justin Herbert train. Get me back on it. If those 2 receivers are in, 1,000% start Justin Herbert. And honestly, if you have those receivers, maybe not Keenan Allen if you have somebody a little bit stronger, but if Mike Williams is back, I think it is time to start Mike Williams. I really do. I don't think you're going to find I think he's going to be back to being super consistent, and I don't know. I have a belief. I have a belief in him. Let's just say that. So that's going to be my my week 11 waiver wire pickups. Trade guys, rewind the episode and look back. If you're looking for somebody to trade, the top scorers are always good. Always good guys to take a chance on. Let's go quick into injuries because there is a lot of injuries this week. And then I'll get you out of here. Super long episode. If you're a new listener, I don't usually ramble this much. Maybe you guys like it. I don't know. But it's been a super long episode. Hopefully you found some helpful facts. But thanks for stopping by anyway. And I'm serious, guys. If you want to stop in, if you like to talk about football with me, dude. Because I'm ready. I want a guy in the podcast. I want a guy in the podcast room with me. Come on in, boy. Come on in and talk to me about football because I just want to spice it up. I want to get a little bit more like information in, a little bit more interest than just me rambling and playing with the applause button. So yeah, let's just get into some injuries. I'm going to state some. You probably already know some of this, but we're just going to go. Kyler Murray. This goes alphabetical too. Ooh, this is nice. Kyler Murray, day to day. He missed last week. I remember talking about it last week. Dude, I hope I helped some of you guys out because I pointed out that Kyler might miss. And I saw him actually starting in 2 out of the 4 leagues that I play in. So I hope that, obviously, they don't listen to the Fantasy Avenue. Marquise Brown is considered day-to-day. He might play Monday. That's a big pickup. He was having an awesome start to the season. And I don't know. It'll be a little interesting seeing Marquise Brown in with the new, that catching share. It's going to be interesting in Arizona. We have Hopkins, who's been dominating the catching share since he got back. Trey McBride is filling in for the loss of tight end and Zach Ertz, and we don't even know about him. And now Marquise Brown coming back from injury. There's a lot of targets up for grabs, and in a lot of like inconsistent situations. So we'll see how that goes. But it's something to keep an eye on there. Mark Andrews limited in practice. You know, do I want him? Man, talk about tight ends. Oh my gosh. Dude, tight end's a freaking physical position. There's so many injuries. Talk about tight ends. I could take myself some of that. Jamar Chase still did not practice. Not looking too good for Jamar, unfortunately. If you have him on your bench, like if you're at this point, if you haven't traded him, you know, if you've had him on your bench for 5 or 4 weeks or however long it's been, don't trade him. He's going to come back, and if you're a playoff team or an almost playoff team, wait till he comes back, and he can boost you and help you in the playoffs. I want to say that about Jamar because I know some people are just tired of having players that are out on their bench. If you don't have those like reserve slots that I know some leagues do, don't get rid of him because he's coming back and he will help you. Zeke this is a quote of Mike McCarthy, will be part of it today at walkthrough practice. He's going to be walking through with a knee injury. That plays some role in Tony Pollard, who's been balling out, but I wouldn't. That's a keep an eye on. Some Bronco receiver injuries. Jerry Jeudy, that looks like day-to-day, which is good because that was like a pretty bad injury. Honestly, not really fantasy relevant, but he's a deep sleeper, a backup, you know, because he's not having a very good year. The Broncos receivers are struggling. Juju, I know I was super high. I was going to make the Instagram post that I've talked so much about last week, and Juju was going to be one of the main features on it. I didn't get to it, and he ended up with a concussion, only got 5 points, and now he's not practicing. So, you know, as much as it works, I had him, and he only got me 5 points, and I lost. So I lost in that league. You know, it was kind of a loser week. I went 2-2, and I had some heartbreaks. But Juju, hopefully he comes back because I like that. Keenan Allen, so here we go. I was talking about it a little bit. The tight end Gerald Everett, who is not a factor in the game last week. Mike Williams, who obviously didn't play, and Keenan Allen, who didn't play, all limited in practice. That's awesome. At the start of the week of practice, right? This is either today or yesterday's. I'm not sure which update. That's awesome to see that they're coming back, and I'm super high on the Chargers scoring points now. Cooper Kupp officially placed on injured reserve. That means he misses at least 4 weeks. A high ankle sprain. I think it's going to be like some little tiny surgeries, I thought, or something. I'm not sure, but that's a big hit for a fantasy baller. But you know, injuries happen, and I think of him a lot in the same situation as Jamar Chase. And looking at this list, Dallas Goedert, Eagles tight end, same situation. These guys are all going on injured reserve. All these guys, I don't know about Jamar, but will be back. So I'm just going to say the average of around 4 weeks. That is exactly when the playoffs are heating up. It is when your team is either going into the playoffs as a fantasy team, right? Because the playoffs are in the last week of your season. They're either going in or trying to get in. You need to save these big names because they will be back, and that's exactly what's going to need you to get over the hump. You know, and injuries happen in football. You can't really be scared to start players because they were injured, you know? Like, injuries happen and players come back and players ball. So it's going to be a factor, obviously, but these are all good players, and when push comes to shove, you want a consistent good player who's not feeling the greatest over 5 points off a waiver wire throw. That can be the difference of whether you win or lose your league. So I hope all this advice worked. I hope it wasn't a little bit too much blah blah blah. But it was a fun episode. Thanks for stopping in. I had a fun week, and I'm super excited for another week of football. Hopefully these injuries work. Check out the Fantasy Avenue Instagram. Hit me up if you want to. Hit me up if you just want to talk about football on the podcast. That'd be awesome. Hit me up just hit me up. Even hit me up if you have any points, anything that you think I should talk about on the pod. Just DM me on the Instagram, the Fantasy Avenue. Yeah, we'll make it happen. So thanks for stopping in. This has been the Fantasy Avenue, your road to fantasy football victory. I'm Mikey Andersen, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.